Say man, it's your boy sitting Jai and we back outside here, man. Yo, y'all niggas know how we do it, man. What's good and shit, man? What's good and shit, man? Hope everybody's doing good, man. We back outside here, another day, another reaction. You feel me? Another day, another reaction, bro. But anyways, chat. Look, today we have a video to react on. This topic have been going on for a minute, and we need to cover this topic, bro. We need to. I'm not gonna lie. We need to talk about this thing, bro. Cause Mexico is having a The Mexicans are having a big issue with this terrorist thing. I don't know what. I think his name is El Mencho. I think El Mencho is his name, chat. El Mencho. He's been killed, and people have been saying he's one of the biggest filmy drug dealers slash whatever they call them. But anyways, chat, we need to we trying to see what is going on, like how everything happened and what is going on, like for real, bro. Cause me, I wanna know, bro. I don't know, man. I wanna know. So let's find out, chat. Let's find out. Let's see what's up, man, with this video. Let's see.
On February 22nd, 2026, the Mexican military killed one man in a firefight in the mountains of Jalisco. He was wounded during the raid in the small town of Tapalpa and loaded onto a military helicopter bound for Mexico City. He died before the aircraft landed. Within 6 hours, his organization responded with a level of coordinated violence that this country has not seen in a generation. Over 250 roadblocks were set ablaze across 20 Mexican states. Buses and trucks were hijacked.
Yo! So these people, they clap back by burning bushes, people's like cars. Like, bro, those people didn't do anything to you. You have problem with the government, not these people, gang.
And torched across highways from Guadalajara to Tamaulipas. 25 members of the National Guard were killed in 6 separate ambushes before the sun set.
Damn.
The governor of Jalisco declared a code red. Guadalajara, the second largest city in Mexico and a host city for the 2026 World Cup, became a ghost town.
Oh, damn, they are cooked, bro. They finna cancel the World Cup, bro. They are going to cancel the World Cup, gang. They us. So these people are like really like making crime on the place where the biggest stadium. I don't know whether it's their biggest stadium, cause they're supposed to do the 2026 World Cup there. Oh no, bro. Gang, they are not. They are choosing another country, gang. I don't know.
Airlines canceled every flight to Puerto Vallarta. The United States Embassy issued shelter-in-place orders across 5 states. Schools were canceled the next morning. 1 man died, and an entire country locked its doors. And most people watching this right now have never heard his name. His name was Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes. They called him El Mencho. He ran the Jalisco New Generation cartel, which the DEA considers as powerful as the Sinaloa cartel.
Okay, chat. I've seen some clips, bro. Bro, I've seen this gang, bro. These people, like, they are like this, whatever they call it, this gang, bro. If you see, there are people are dressing like the police, like the government, the army, bro. These people are having crazy cars, bro. They are having all the like all the suits like for a war or anything that they are getting ready for, bro. I was like,
His organization operated in at least 21 Mexican states and all 50 states of the United States.
Oh.
The United States had a $15 million bounty on his head. He commanded an army with armored vehicles, rocket launchers, and weaponized drones. His cartel generated billions annually, and for 15 years, almost nobody could find him. No photographs that weren't decades old, no interviews, no legend. He was a ghost who ran.
Yo, this guy is good, gang. So like they have been looking for this guy for 15 years. They cannot even see his like New York fit picture or anything, bro. This guy is
And an empire. And this is the story of the most powerful drug lord you've never heard of. Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes was born on July 17, 1966, in the village of Naranjo de Chila, in the municipality of Aguililla, Michoacan, deep in Mexico's Tierra Caliente. His family grew avocados. His father, Miguel, and his mother, Jacoba, worked the fields and barely kept the household fed. He had 5 brothers. Several would eventually follow him into organized crime. He dropped out of school in the 5th grade to work the land. By 14, he was no longer picking avocados. He was standing guard over marijuana plantations in the mountains, watching for police and rival growers. That was the first job that paid. His other nickname was El Señor de los Gallos, the Lord of the Roosters, because even as a boy, he loved cockfighting. In the 1980s, El Mencho crossed the border illegally into the United States and
nah, hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Niggas like they are very fast in like sneaking into America, bro.
settled in the San Francisco Bay Area. He used fake names: Ruben Avila, Jose Lopez Prieto, Miguel Valadez, Carlos Hernandez Mendoza.
Yeah?
In 1986, at 19, San Francisco police arrested him for carrying a loaded weapon and stolen property. He was released. In 1989, he was arrested again for selling narcotics.
Bro, like this how? Cause he went illegally in the United States. So how did they even capture him and let him go again?
Deported, he came back. He and his brother-in-law, Abigail Gonzalez Valencia, known as El Queenie, got involved in methamphetamine production in California's Central Valley. That partnership would eventually become the financial backbone of the most powerful cartel in Mexico. In September of 1992, federal agents in San Francisco set up a sting operation at a bar called the Imperial. El Mencho and his brother Abraham walked in to sell 5 ounces of heroin for $9,500.
Damn, that was a good money back then, gang. Good money.
Abraham handled the transaction. El Mencho watched the room, and he noticed something the undercover agents did not expect him to catch. The buyers were stacking their bills too neatly, perfectly aligned, crisp. Real street money comes wrinkled, folded, loose. El Mencho leaned over and warned his brother, "Those men are police. Do not do business with them again." But 3 weeks later, both brothers were arrested. El Mencho was convicted of conspiracy to distribute heroin in the United States District Court for the Northern District of California. He was 26 years old. He served nearly 3 years in a federal prison.
3 years,
He
bro.
was deported to Mexico. And then he did something no other major drug lord in Mexican history has done. He went home to Jalisco and joined the police force.
So you are telling me this guy was a drug dealer in America. He do crime. He served 3 years, and they deport him back to Mexico. And he went to Mexico and become a police? Bro, what?
Became a state police officer in the small coastal town of
That's
Tomatlan,
crazy, bro.
south of Puerto Vallarta. Nobody knows exactly how long he served or what he did in uniform. What is known is that at some point he quit law enforcement and crossed to the other side permanently. He joined the Milenio Cartel, one of the entrenched criminal organizations in western Mexico, and became a member of its assassination squad, a team of killers who protected the drug lord Armando Valencia Cornelio. The avocado farmer's son from Michoacan was now a professional hitman,
He's lost already.
and he was paying attention to everything around him because the entire cartel structure above him was about to collapse. And from the wreckage, he would build something nobody saw coming. In 2003, El Mencho's boss at the Milenio cartel was arrested. Almost simultaneously, Los Zetas launched an armed offensive against the Milenio cartel in Michoacan, forcing the Valencia family to relocate to Jalisco. El Mencho followed, settling in Guadalajara and forming a critical alliance with Ignacio Coronel Villarreal, known as Nacho Coronel, a high-ranking partner of El Chapo's Sinaloa cartel. Under Coronel's umbrella,
Bro, these people gang, like, bro, I would have been like fed up with this thing. Doing this for how many years, gang? Oh, hell no.
El Mencho managed drug operations and financial networks across Jalisco and Colima. He was no longer a foot soldier, he was a strategist, and he was watching what happened to leaders who made themselves visible. Then, in less than 12 months, two events shattered the entire power structure of Western Mexico. In 2009, Oscar Orlando Nava Valencia, one of the top Milenio leaders, was captured. In July of 2010, Nacho Coronel was killed in a military operation. The two pillars holding up the Western Mexico drug trade were gone. A massive power vacuum opened, and El Mencho stepped into it. The Milenio cartel fractured into two warring factions. One side was called La Resistencia. The other was led by El Mencho and called itself Los Mata Zetas, the Zeta Killers. Los Zetas were the most feared organization in the country. By positioning his group as the force that would destroy them, El Mencho gave his faction a purpose beyond drug trafficking. He released propaganda videos denouncing
Bro, I don't understand how these criminals like have a good life or live a better life out of this cause. Bro, it doesn't matter how many money you make. It is never enough, gang. You're always going back to like gang banging, or you can never live a regular life. You're always watching your back. You're always, bro, nah, hell no, bro.
rival cartels for extorting civilians. He promised to clean the streets. It was a public relations campaign backed by automatic weapons, and it worked. Los Mata Zetas won the turf war in Jalisco. They eliminated La Resistencia. They drove Los Zetas out of the state, and then they renamed themselves the Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación, the New Generation. The name itself was a declaration. The old cartels were finished. This was something different, something built for the future.
Okay.
In September of 2011, the group announced itself to the world in the most visceral way possible, dumping 35 bodies in a busy area of the port city of Veracruz and claiming the victims were Zetas operatives. 1 month later, the bodies of
Bro, like, yo, why would they even do that, bro? Like, how many bodies, gang, at the same time?
approximately 30 more victims appeared in the same region. The message was impossible to misunderstand. CJNG would not negotiate with rivals. It would erase them. El Mencho was 45 years old. He had gone from picking avocados to guarding marijuana to selling heroin in San Francisco to serving federal time to becoming a police officer to becoming an assassin to running one of the fastest growing
Yo, Cha, do you know what I think? I think he went to join like the Mexican police so that he understand like how the police system works, gang. I don't know whether you guys understand what I'm saying. Like he went there to be able to know the inside job, like how the police work, so that he will know how to move. You understand? That's how I see it, bro.
Criminal organizations in the Western Hemisphere. And the DEA was barely paying attention. A former DEA field agent would later admit publicly that the agency had been focused almost entirely on El Chapo and the Sinaloa cartel during the critical years of CJNG's rise. All the cables out of headquarters, all the intelligence reports were focused on Chapo.
El
The
Chapo.
bosses in D.C. were like, "We've never heard of them." They didn't think they were important. Another agent who worked the case described hitting a dead end. He said they knew they had this big player, this up-and-coming narco, but they had no way in to investigate him. The case was put on the back burner, and for the next several years,
hell no.
while the world watched El Chapo escape from prison, stand trial in Brooklyn, and get sentenced to life at ADX Florence, El Mencho was quietly building an empire that would surpass Sinaloa in almost every measurable dimension. At its peak, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, known as CJNG, controlled operations in at least 21 of Mexico's 32 states. It operated distribution
21 out of
networks
32
in all
states?
50 United States. It had a presence in Europe, Asia, Latin America, Australia, and parts of Africa. The United States State Department assessed the cartel as having the highest cocaine, heroin,
Chad, you know, how do they even make like these cocaines and stuff? Because I don't even know. Have you seen this white thing? I don't even know like how these people be like making these things, bro.
and methamphetamine trafficking capacity in Mexico. And then came fentanyl. CJNG became one of the dominant forces in the manufacturing and distribution of the synthetic opioid that has killed more Americans than any illegal drug in history. The cartel imported precursor chemicals directly from China, manufactured fentanyl and methamphetamine in clandestine labs across Jalisco and Michoacan, and pushed the finished product into every American state. El Chapo's Sinaloa cartel had been the logistics master that moved Colombian cocaine. El Mencho did not just move drugs, he manufactured them. He controlled the entire supply chain from the raw chemicals to the pills on American streets.
Like, bro, where are they even making this thing? Where exactly? Because I don't understand. All of this, like, lot of this, like, this thing is plenty, gang.
But CJNG was not a cartel in the traditional sense. Under El Mencho, it became a paramilitary organization. The group operated armored fighting
Yo, CJ, how do they even get this type of cars, bro? Like, these people are moving like the police, gang.
vehicles that members called monstruos. They deployed rocket launchers, improvised explosive devices, and mines along contested roads and entry points. They pioneered the use of weaponized drones in cartel warfare, rigging commercial drones with explosives and dropping them on rival positions and military targets. Hundreds of drones were deployed regularly along the border for surveillance and smuggling operations. Their recruitment infrastructure was modeled on an insurgent army, strict training programs, enforced discipline, and forced conscription through fake job advertisements that lured unsuspecting civilians into service. Those who refused were tortured or killed.
Oh, hell no, bro. So, Chad, they are basically saying they are like making posters, like photocopying posters, putting it on the streets, like telling people like, yo, we have jobs, we are offering jobs. Like, people are thinking like, okay, this is a company job or something else, bro. And when you go to the place for the interview, they will capture you and try to force you to join the like their their crew. And if you don't join, they kill you. Oh, hey, yo, bro. Like,
In March of 2025, a group of people searching for missing relatives in Jalisco discovered what was believed to be a CJNG training ground. They found charred bones, shoes, and scraps of clothing buried in the dirt. The violence under El Mencho was not just frequent, it was strategic and spectacular. In April of 2015, CJNG ambushed and killed 15 state police officers in a single coordinated attack in Jalisco.
damn.
1 month later, the cartel shot down a Mexican military helicopter with a Russian-made rocket-propelled grenade during an operation targeting El Mencho in the mountains. No cartel in Mexico had ever brought down a military aircraft before. That same year, CJNG operatives taped sticks of dynamite to the bodies of a man and his elementary school-age son and detonated them on camera, laughing as they filmed the explosion. A DEA agent who investigated the cartel described it in 2 words: "This is ISIS stuff." The sheer numbers and the manner in which they kill people is unparalleled even in Mexico. In June of 2020, El Mencho sent over 30 gunmen armed with grenades, body armor, and high-powered rifles to assassinate Omar Garcia Harfuch, Mexico City's chief of police, on one of the capital's main avenues in broad daylight. The attackers fired over 400 rounds. The police chief survived with 3 bullet wounds. 2 of his bodyguards and an uninvolved woman were killed. It was the most brazen assassination attempt against a government official in Mexico City in decades. In Guanajuato, the war between CJNG and a rival group called the Santa Rosa de Lima cartel over control of the illegal fuel trade turned the
Like, why are they beefing? Like, they are both like criminals and they are fighting in the, like, bro, Mexico has a big problem to solve, gang. Cause, bro, like,
state
what?
into the most violent in the entire country, with mass graves discovered in rural areas and homicide rates that exceeded those of active war zones. The Mexican government estimated CJNG's total assets at approximately $50 billion.
50 what? So these people are having 50 billion? Bro, that's why these people are having stuffs, gang. Cause I seen a clip, I seen people, these people are having crazy guns, like machines, big cars, like, bro, I'm like, yo, how did they get all of this?
The DEA assessed the cartel's operational capacity as equal to Sinaloa's, but CJNG diversified its revenue in ways Sinaloa never had. Beyond drug trafficking, the cartel profited from extortion, kidnapping for ransom, theft of crude oil from government pipelines, illegal mining, illegal logging, and control of the avocado trade in Michoacan, the very crop that El Mencho's family had grown when he was a boy. The fields where he picked fruit as
So his parents were working as they were working on an avocado farm, and now he become like rich. He is now controlling the farms like illegally, like working. People are working by force for him, and he's selling this stuff.
a child were now part of his criminal empire. The crop that once barely fed his family was now feeding a $50 billion organization. An empire of that scale should have
Look at
been
them, Chad.
impossible to hide. But El Mencho did something that no drug lord before him had ever managed. He ran it all from the shadows. Every major drug lord before El Mencho was eventually undone by visibility. El Chapo gave interviews, escaped from 2 prisons in ways designed for spectacle, and made the Forbes list. His fame turned him into a folk hero and then a target. He was captured 3 times. El Mencho studied every one of those mistakes and chose the opposite path. No photographs, no interviews, no journalists, no corridos. He lived modestly, avoiding the mansions and luxury cars that attract surveillance. The only circulated images of him were a 1989 booking photo and a wanted poster that looked like a relic from another decade. A former
That's what I'm saying. Since I seen like the pictures, I'm like, bro, they are saying like this guy was born in 1960 something. So the pictures I'm seeing like he was younger, bro. And we know that right now this guy is way older, bro.
DEA
What is even the point?
agent said it plainly. In Mexico, you would run into guys who had met Chapo, but not Mencho. He is kind of a ghost.
That's what I'm saying. Like bro, I rather like live as a broke regular ass nigga than this, bro. Imagine having all this money, having all this power, and people cannot even see you. You cannot even enjoy your life, bro. You are always hiding or something.
The ghost had layers of protection. His innermost security circle was composed of mercenaries with former military training. A second ring monitored roads and communications for any sign of law enforcement. He never stayed in one location long. He moved constantly through mountains and rural terrain across 4 states, choosing routes with multiple escape corridors. When the military came for him in 2015 with 2 helicopters, his men shot one down with an RPG. When
Damn.
police raided his compounds in 2012 and 2018, he was gone before they breached the doors. Each failed raid made the ghost more real, but the ghost strategy
How
came
did-
with a cost.
Oh, okay. I seen a clip too. He was talking with the police gang. This guy is having power, bro. He was talking with the police, like the audio. When you hear the audio, the police were even calling him like, yes sir, bro. Like those people are even scared of him, bro.
Cost that no one on the outside could see. El Mencho reportedly suffered from kidney disease for years, a condition that worsened steadily while he moved through the mountains, far from any hospital or reliable medical care. Multiple reports of his death circulated in 2018 and 2022, both linked to his deteriorating health. Neither was confirmed by the Mexican government or the DEA. Meanwhile, the people closest to him were being systematically pulled out of his orbit. His wife, Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia, was arrested in 2018 on money laundering charges. She
Bro, even your wife is a criminal, bro. Oh, bro.
served several years and was released in February of 2025, just weeks before his death. His son, Ruben Oseguera Gonzalez, known as El Menchito, was extradited to the United States in 2020 and convicted on drug and weapons charges. In March of 2025, he was sentenced to life in prison.
Man, GG's, bro. GG's, my nigga. Yo, what do you mean, like, bro? This guy's whole family is like either in jail or dead or like what?
His daughter, Jessica Johanna Oseguera Gonzalez, was arrested in Washington, D.C. after visiting her brother and pleaded guilty to violating the Kingpin Act through sanctioned businesses. His co-founder, Eric Valencia Salazar, known as El Ochenta y Cinco, was captured and taken into United States custody in February of 2025. One by one, the pillars around El Mencho were removed. The ghost remained free. But the ghost was increasingly alone. And then, on a Sunday morning in February, the military finally found the place where the ghost was hiding. The town of Tapalpa sits in the mountains of Jalisco, about a 2-hour drive southwest of Guadalajara. It is a quiet place surrounded by pine forests and farmland. On the morning of February 22nd, 2026, elements of the Mexican Army, the Attorney General's Office, and the National Guard launched a coordinated operation in the area. The strike team had received specialized training from the United States Navy SEALs. The intelligence that pinpointed El Mencho's location came from American authorities.
Yeah, bro, like the Mexicans are working with Americans just to capture this guy. Cause this guy is harming even America too. Cause most of their like drugs they are moving it to America again. So, bro.
The White House later confirmed that the United States provided intelligence support for the operation. When the troops closed in on the target location, CJNG members opened fire. A sustained firefight erupted. 4 cartel gunmen were killed at the scene. 3 others, including El Mencho, were seriously wounded and pulled from the area under fire. They were loaded onto a military helicopter bound for Mexico City to receive medical treatment. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes died during the flight. He was 59 years old, the man who had evaded capture for over 15 years as the most wanted person in Mexico, who had survived at least 3 previous military operations, who had ordered the shoot-down of a military helicopter to avoid arrest, died in one. He was never taken alive. He never saw the inside of a courtroom. He never sat in a cell at ADX Florence. He was not captured. He was killed. And the difference matters because it means the ghost chose death over surrender. What happened next proved exactly how much power this one man had held. Within hours, CJNG cells activated across the country. Over 250 roadblocks were set ablaze across 20 states. 25 members of the National Guard were killed in 6 separate coordinated attacks. Guadalajara was completely shut down. Puerto Vallarta was sealed. 5 international airlines canceled every flight. The United States Embassy issued shelter-in-place orders. Schools were canceled. The Mexican president urged calm. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of State called El Mencho one of the bloodiest and most ruthless drug kingpins in history. The White House confirmed the United States provided the intelligence, but none of those statements changed what was happening on the ground. One man died, and his cartel proved in 6 hours that it could shut down a country. But the most dangerous part of El Mencho's death is not what happened that Sunday. It is what happens next. El Mencho's son is serving life in an American prison. His brother is in an American prison. His co-founder is in American custody. His daughter pleaded guilty to federal charges. His wife was released just weeks before his death. There is no obvious successor. The history of the drug war offers a clear pattern. When El Chapo was captured, the Sinaloa cartel fractured into a civil war that is still burning. When El Mencho was killed, CJNG set 20 states on fire in 6 hours. The question is whether the cartel fractures the same way, or whether the regional commanders...
Bro, I feel like there is somebody else coming, gang. This shit is never ending. Bro, let me give it a bug, man. Somebody who was like his right hand is finna step up, and he's gonna be the one who is going to be controlling everything, bro. Cause bro, these niggas are not going to rest, bro. They are never. Cause that's how they catch Pablo. Somebody else was there. El Mencho, when he was there, somebody else was running the place. I think that guy was killed, and he made his own, bro. This thing, bro.
Who carried out that coordinated retaliation are capable of operating without a central leader. That second possibility should keep people awake at night. A decentralized CJNG with no single ghost to hunt, no head to cut off, would be harder to stop than anything the drug war has ever produced. El Mencho picked avocados in Michoacan as a child. He sold heroin on the streets of San Francisco as a teenager. He served time in a United States federal prison. He became a police officer in a quiet coastal town in Jalisco. He became an assassin for the Milenio Cartel. He built the Jalisco New Generation Cartel from the ashes of a cartel war and turned it into the most powerful criminal organization on the continent, with operations spanning 5 continents, assets estimated at $50 billion, an army equipped with drones and rocket launchers, and control over the fentanyl pipeline that is killing more Americans than any drug in history. And he did all of it while remaining almost completely invisible for 15 years. No modern photographs, no interviews, no legend, just power. So much power that when the military finally found him, it took a team trained by the United States Navy SEALs, intelligence support from 2 nations, and a full-scale military operation in the mountains of Jalisco to reach him. And even then, he did not surrender. He died in a helicopter over the state where he was born, and his cartel burned a country to say goodbye. The ghost is dead. The fire is not. If this story changed the way you see the drug war, subscribe and turn on notifications. We go deep on stories like this every single week. Drop a comment and tell.
Bro, nah, gang, nah, bro. Bro, this shit is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like how I said it, bro. There is always gonna be somebody who's going to come through. It doesn't matter, gang. Somebody who is going to be like, yo, I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna face this thing. There is always somebody who wants to like show, yo, like, bro, our boss is there, so let me step up, let me be the big boy, let me be the bro. But anyways, man, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell for more videos, and we out, man.